Okay, so this is the solutions to the odds of the first part of the review. So, let's see. Solve each equation using the best algebraic method. I'm not going to grade you on whether I think you picked the best algebraic method, right? So, if there is a best method, I hope you use it, but as long as you get the answer with a method, you'll be okay. Give the exact answer in simplified radical form. Without a calculator, it'd be hard to give anything other than the exact answer, because you're not going to give me a decimal if you don't have a calculator. All right, number one. It's a quadratic, so let's move everything over, and then we'll start to figure out what to do. So minus 15x minus 8 equals 0. Okay. Does it factor? I don't know. Does it?
Negative 8 plus 1.
Yeah, but 2x and x. Oh yeah, 8 across from the 2 would get me to 16. And then 1 would get me to 15 if I can get the signs correct. So I need a minus 16 and a plus 1. So x equals negative 1/2 and x equals 8. Now, what if your factoring skills aren't where they're supposed to be and you couldn't figure out how to factor it? You would use quadratic formula. And it would be uglier and longer. Or complete the square. Also ugly. That would be really ugly because you'd have to divide by 2, get 15 halves, and then half that and get 15 fourths, and then square that and get 2 25/16ths. Yeah, I would not recommend complete the square. If you do complete the square or quadratic formula, what will your answers be? Well, no, that's the thing. Like, you should still get negative 1/2 and 8. You'll just be a long way from getting there, and you'll have weird square roots to deal with along the way. But you should still land at the same answers. Number 3. 2k squared plus 9k plus 10 equals 0. Factor, maybe? 2k and k. Everything's got to be positive. So if I put the 2 across from the 2, that'll make 4. And 5 right there, that'll make 4 plus 5 is 9. So I can factor that one. K equals negative 5/2, and k equals negative 2. And same spiel, like if you can't figure out how to factor it, you think, let me quadratic formula it, that's fine. You'll eventually get to negative 5/2 and negative 2.
I did.
With quadratic formula? Yep, so it's fine. Number 5, I just keep waiting to hit one that won't factor, and then we'll have to use quadratic formula. 12n squared minus 8n plus 10 equals 0. What would you want to do first on this one? Divide by 2. Make life a little easier anyway. 6n squared minus 4n plus 5 equals 0. I don't think this is going to factor because the signs have to both be negative. The only way to get 5 is 5 and 1. And then you're trying to figure out, well, what would pair with 5? There's no way to get negative 4 out of this. So, sing the song. Not out loud. At least not on test day anyway. X equals negative b. Whoa, wait a minute. I need to be careful. Do I want to use the original coordinates or the original coefficients?
No.
Or the reduced coefficients? Reduced. Either one will work, but it would certainly be easier to use the reduced ones. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac. Oh yeah, that's going to be negative in there. All over 2a. Yeah, 4 times 6 times 5, that's definitely bigger than 16. Slow down and figure out what that is. 6 times 5 is 30. times 4 is 120. We do want, it is imaginary solutions, but I want those solutions. So don't stop. This happened on the quiz. Don't stop and say no real solutions. I mean, that's technically true, but I want the unreal solutions. 4 plus or minus the square root of 116 minus 120 is negative 104 over 12. I'm not great, but I'm pretty sure 104 is divisible by 4. That'd be 26. Yeah, because 25 fours gets me to 100, so one more would get me to 104. So 4 plus or minus 2I root 26 over 12. Don't stop there. I can divide everybody by 2. 2 plus or minus I root 26 over 6. How about the 2 and the 6? Can I reduce that to 1/3? No, because it's all over 6, so I'm kind of stuck with what I got. Unless I split it up, but why bother? Just leave it like that. Number 7. Looks yuck, but I don't know. So let's subtract the 10a squared over. Let's add 8a over. And move the 16 over. And another one that doesn't factor, I don't know. It'd have to be 3a and a. Signs would have to be different. I've got options here. Yeah, 4 and 4, because that would be 12 minus 4 is 8, if I can arrange the signs the right way here.
Minus 4.
Well, they're both forced.
Plus 4.
I want the 12 to be negative. I'll phrase it that way. I want the 12 to be negative and the 4 to be positive. So a equals negative 4/3 and a equals 4. And again, if you can't factor, you're going to have a hard time finishing the test. That's a quote of the year right there. Factoring makes life easier. Life is hard enough on its own. Life is harder if you don't know how to factor. This is true. At least in a math class, anyway. Number 9. Hey, how do you want to solve number 9?
I don't know. Is it a perfect square?
I don't know if it's a perfect square yet, but I do want to pursue that path. Let's subtract the 10 over.
Square root.
Because I'm definitely going to use the square root method. I don't know if it's a perfect square yet.
10 divided by 6.
I don't know. I hope so.
354.
Let's see.
Without a calculator on the
5 times 6 is 30.
It is in my head.
59. Well, that was nice.
That's not a nice worksheet, though.
It's not, but in some ways that's even better news, right? Because that way I don't even have to square root it. I just leave it as plus or minus root 59. Yeah, you reach the point where you prefer them not be squares, because then you can just leave it alone. Oh, more practice. 7v squared minus 14v plus 1 equals 0. I don't think I can get to 14 with 7s and 1s. Right? This is not going to factor, I don't think. Because it'd have to be 1 and 1. Yeah, there's no way to get there. So, try it first, but then out of luck. That one wouldn't be terrible to complete the square.
Well, because these are divided into 7.
Yeah, you'd have a 1/7 on the other side.
Let's do quadratic formula.
Yeah.
Quadratic formula?
Yeah, just
14 squared.
Yeah.
14 squared is 96.
x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of 196 minus 4ac
And then 6 minus 28.
all over 2 times 7. The song doesn't work so well when you start putting the values in there.
14 plus or minus
6 minus 28 over 14.
What was 196 minus 28?
168.
168.
so close to the square.
This was a little bit.
168. It's probably divisible by 4.
42.
In fact, that part's divisible by 4, that part's divisible by 4, so I don't know, I'm going to do 4 first.
You could probably try 16.
42. 42 can't be broken down anyway. 6 and 7, so yeah, we're 4 root 42. Well, 2 root 42. 14 plus or minus 2 root 42 all over 14.
So 7 plus or minus root 42 is 7.
So do not cancel those 14s because you got to divide everybody by 14. Well, in this case, divide everybody by 2. 7 plus or minus root 42 over 7 equals v. Yes.
Is it fun if I just change it to x just for like?
So I'm going to follow the same rule the College Board does, and that is yes, it's okay. In a one variable problem, no big deal. We'd have to be super careful. Like if it's one of those where we're solving for x and y, well then you better be sure you get x and y correct. But if there's only one variable and you mistakenly put an x like I did, they're not going to take off for that. I would say if you want to, I don't know whether to show this or not, but some people still want to reduce that 7 and 7. I mean, you can reduce it, but then you still have to divide the other piece by 7. So either one of those answers is fine. I tend to think this one's a little easier. But if you're just desperate to reduce that 7 and 7, okay, just make sure you divide the second part by 7.
Skip down to 17.
Are you ready for me to skip to 17? I mean, I'm okay with that because we factored a bunch, we quadratic formulaed a bunch. Complete the square, you can just never have to use.
I just do it just because we have to.
There wants the answers to that problem.
Someone out there does. 6p squared minus p minus 12 equals 0. Surely that factors with all those different combinations? Somebody out there wants to... I don't want a negative reaction to my posted video if I don't work this one. Let's see. It's got to be different signs. 1 and 6, 2 and 3, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. 3 and 3 would be 9. 2 times 4 would be 8. So I think if I could combine those to get 9 and 8, and the signs have to be different, which is what I want. So let's see if I can 2p and 3p. And I want the 2 and the 4 to go together because that's 8. 3 and the 3 to go together because that's 9.
And then you want the first one to be negative.
I want the 9 to be negative. That's how I'd phrase it. I want the 9 to be negative.
2x minus 3.
3p plus 4. And if you're not sure, then FOIL the whole thing out and make sure you get what you got. I did that. I didn't mean to be mean on some of your quizzes. Like if you factored wrong, occasionally I would FOIL out what you said the factored was and be like, look, it's not what you, this is not the answer. If you FOIL this out, this one you do get that, so we're okay here. So p equals 3/2 and p equals negative 4/3. That one was kind of a pain to factor. Again, quadratic formula, you'd eventually land at 3/2 and negative 4/3. If you use the quadratic formula and you get nice answers, that means you could have factored. I mean, that doesn't really matter, but when you get nice answers after using the quadratic formula, then you're like, that means I could have factored this thing. Oh well. Number 15. 5v squared minus 39v minus 8 equals 0. 8 and 5 make 40, but then there's nothing left to get back to. Yeah. Oh, to 39. Yeah, that's good. 5 and 8 is 40. So 40 minus 1 is 39. Now I need to figure out the signs again. I want the 40 to be negative. And 1 needs to be positive. So 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. That checks out. 5v times v is 5v squared. And then negative 40v plus 1v checks out the middle term. Yes, do make sure you finish the problem, right? You don't want to be like, it factors, I got it, I figured it out. Yes, let's move on. Well, wait a minute. Negative 1/5 and v equals 8. Number 17. Graph the quadratic inequality and give the vertex. Give the vertex. That's a pretty good hint as to what we should find first. What's the formula for the vertex? 2a, so that's negative 4 over 2 times 2. What do I do with the negative 1? Plug it in. Some of you continue to like to do the axis of symmetry, which is fine. But yeah, I need to plug in negative 1. So it's 2 times 1 minus 4 plus 5. 7 minus 4 is 3. I added the 2 and the 5. I added the positive numbers first. Let's see. How do I get what's my set of points here? Can I use 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9?
Yes. No.
Yeah, well, sort of. It's
1, 2, 8.
1, 2, 2, 8, 3, 18, which is a little bit off the graph. 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, now I need to start being careful because this is an inequality. Solid line because of the equal sign. And above because of the greater than sign. As opposed to 18 will be on the next video. What kind of line will be on 18?
It's going to be flipped and dashed.
It'll be flipped and dashed and above or below. In fact, so you already know it's upside down. Whoops, it's dashed and it's below. There's the. Yeah. So if your answer on 18 better look something like that. Actually, it's easy because you can tell where the vertex is. 19. Okay, this is what you'd ask about earlier. Solve it algebraically, graph the solution on a number line. Wait, how do I know this is a number line problem and not a XY plane problem?
Because it's an equation with no graph.
Okay, so one answer is I don't give you an XY graph, so you must not need one. That's fair. There's only one variable. That's the more technical, correct answer. There's only one variable, so this is not an XY graph, it's an X graph. 3x squared plus 7x minus 20 greater than or equal to 0. These almost always factor because otherwise you got really ugly stuff to deal with. Let's see, it's got to be 3 and 1. And then for 20, 1 and 20 is a terrible choice. They need to be different signs. No, I see what he said 12, because if I put a 4 here, that makes 12.
Oh, I thought you said that.
He thought 12 was a factor of 20. No, he doesn't think that.
Maybe on the text.
It needs to be 12.
So
The biggest one.
I need the bigger one to be positive. Careful when you say the bigger one, not the 5, but the 12 needs to be positive. But I knew what he meant. Just, I don't know that everybody knew what he meant. Okay, so what do I do with 5/3 and -4? Put them on a number line. If I plug them in, I'm going to get 0. That's not going to help me much.
You know what I meant.
I don't know if I knew what you meant on that one. Please put them on in the right, like, respective places, like the smaller one on the left and the bigger one on the right. That's silly, but, man, it really messes up a problem if you switch those around. So 0 gives me, I'm going to plug it back into the original.
-20 is not greater than
-20 is not greater than 0. I went all the way back, but -15 is not greater than 5. Or equal to, so that's a no. Which means the other two are yes, because there's no repeated roots, nothing crazy going on. If you want to plug in something, again, sometimes plugging in a really big number makes it easy. If I plug in 10, 10 squared is 100, times 3 is 300. That kind of dwarfs everybody else. 370.
So much extra. That's bigger than
It's bigger than 5. Like, whatever this is, it's definitely bigger than 5. Which I thought was going to be the case. Open circles or closed circles? Closed. So, -infinity up to -4. Union with 5/3 out to infinity. Yes, Nicole.
You said instead of like trying to solve it, you could do the little parabola.
Yes, forgot about that. So let's see. This is which way is this parabola pointing? Up or down? Up. And I found the two x-intercepts. So it would look like that. And I would want to know where it's greater than 0. So where is my pink line above? Well, it's above there and there. Definitely okay way to do it. Like a faster way to do it if you understand what's going on. You don't have to plug things in. $21. Oh, this is going to end up with negatives, so I think I'm just going to say 2x squared minus 12x equals 0. I'm not going to worry about the less than, greater than, flip things around, the negatives, like, nah, just set it equals 0.
You can do that?
As long as, when I go back to check, as long as I check them back into the original, I'm okay. So I factor out a 2x, that leaves x minus 6. So x equals 0 and x equals 6. Although, a word of caution to Nicole and others, the graphing method is going to let me down if I so haphazardly just make this equal to 0. I won't know what I'm looking for. So you can still just plug in 1, but if you're going to do it the graphing way, you better be a little more careful on this. Negative 2x squared plus 12x is less than or equal to 0. So it still works, just you got to be a little more careful. Okay, so plug in 1. I get 1 is less than 2. No, not 1. I get 1 is less than 2, but 12 is not less than 2. So that's a no. And since I almost messed that up, I think I'm going to try 7 as well, just to make sure I'm okay here. 12 times 7 is big. 84? 7 squared is 49, times 2 is 98. So that is a yes. So I feel like I'm expecting it to alternate, but since I almost messed that one up, I wanted to do another one just to make sure I was okay. Closed circles. I'm not checking this one. I'm going to assume the alternating rule or use the alternating rule.
These are really easy.
Let's see. Back to the, if you like to graph it and be more careful. So that's an upside down parabola. So that would look like this. And I want to know where that is, where my parabola is smaller than 0. Well, that would be down there and over there. So the graphing method works, just be careful.
Wait, how is it negative?
I want to see, this says, where is my parabola below 0?
Oh.
Where's my parabola below 0? Well, it's below 0 on these tails over there. Use the information provided to write the vertex form. Okay, this is what we started with, now what we'll end with, and perfect timing here. I don't like the negative, so factor out a negative, makes that negative 10x. What do I do with the minus 21? Just leave it, push him away, bully him to the outside. He's not invited to this party. Report me on iHelp for bullying C. Mr. Wolf was mean to C in class today. Repeatedly kept pushing him to the outside. Let's see. Half of negative 10 is negative 5. Square it, I get 25. Add it, so plus 25. Here's where I need to be super careful, though. So I wrote plus 25. I need to plus 25 again, which seems strange to phrase it that way, but...
Wouldn't you be adding negative 25 to the negative up front?
Yeah, this is subtracting 25.
Oh, shoot, you're right. You did the opposite.
And then I need to add 25 to keep things in balance.
That's not good.
So, negative x minus 5 squared plus 4. Use the information provided to write the vertex form, got it, of each parabola. Last one, factor out 4. Bully C to the outside. Sorry, you're not invited to this party. Let's see, half of B is 3. Square it, we get 9. Right, it's like, ugh, I wrote plus 9, but what did I really do just there? Well, I mean, I added 36 there, so now I need to subtract 36 in another part of the equation. So y equals 4, x plus 3 squared, plus 9. The end. You like those?
That would be nice.
You like them, but man, the 4 and the negative, you got to be careful with that stuff.